afternoon, folks. Welcome back. John Pettipas. I'm recording the Hall of Honor, I call it. Sometimes something seems bad, but actually it's honor to have it done. Okay? In this morning's Halifax Herald, Saturday, the 14th day of October, 2023, breaking rules. NDP leader Shinder, refers to the lady's name as Claudia Shinder, removed from legislature. Now, why was she removed from the legislature yesterday afternoon? NDP leader Claudia Shinder was kicked out of the legislature for the first time on Friday. During question period, Shinder pressed Education Early Childhood Development Minister Becky Druins claimed that every student in Nova Scotia can get food when needed. We know it's important that students have access to food in schools. If the member opposite is aware of the situation, I encourage her to bring to my attention. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they kicked her out. This is becoming a habit of terrible Timothy, the Premier. Yes, terrible Timothy, Premier. They kicked out this lady. I don't know if Madam, and I'm certainly not a supporter of NDP, but I read the entire article. Interest of brevity, I'm not going for the whole article, but there was nothing in that article I can see that deserved that lady to be kicked out. She's a leader of a recognized party, whether we like what they stand for or not. She's there and she's entitled to ask a question of the ministers, and the ministers are not supposed to be partisan. Supposedly, they're supposed to be representing the people of all of Nova Scotia when they ask questions at legislature. That's point one. Okay, we back up. We have a wonderful lady from Amherst, Colchester North, that takes in Cumberland North, that represents the people of the northern part of the northern half of the Cumberland County. And in the legislature, her name is Elizabeth Smith-McLaughlin. And they're trying to kick her out because there was something very untold happened with Jamie Bailey, the previous leader of the Tories. Okay, and very untold, and stuff come up that was not nice. Okay, not nice. Whether it's consensual or not, it's just immoral and wrong. And this lady, I don't know her, I've never spoken to her, never met her, Elizabeth Smith-McLaughlin, is a very decent MLA because she was kicked out of the PC caucus, but she ran as independent and she got 60-70% of the vote in the riding. So obviously the people that decide their future and come in Cumberland County, Cumberland North, Amherst area liked her. They wouldn't have re-elected her with about 60-70% of the vote, the turnout in that election back on Tuesday, the 17th of August of 2021. And she was bringing something up on a compassionate basis, and they tried to get her out of the house, and it's going on. And that's wrong. She was elected a duly elected, respectable MLA, and she as an independent. She doesn't have a party with her right now, and they want to kick her. Then I go back to the first year he was in power, in 2021, the last 4 months of 2021, he went to kick out Brendan McGuire. Brendan McGuire is a very excellent constituency man from Halifax, Prospect, Sambro area. He's known as a constituency man. He's top-notch gentleman. And he was chirping, saying something to the Premier, asking something, and the Premier got pissed off, terrible Timothy, looked at the Speaker and said, "Kick him out!" And the guy that's a decent guy, usually, Keith Bain, told him to leave. He's ordering him out of the legislature that afternoon. And that's wrong. That's recorded in Hansard, which is electronic, or paper versions of Hansard. It's the recordings of all the goings-on in the House of Assembly. And so 3 times, a little more than 2 years and 2 months, been there now for what? 26 months as our Premier of the province of Nova Scotia. Don't know why, but he's there. He's kicked out Brendan McGuire, backbencher in the Liberal opposition, kicked out and trying to get her out of the legislature, kicked her out of the caucus and trying to get her out of the legislature, period, which I certainly won't succeed on, good Lord willing. But Elizabeth Smith McClose, independent member from Cumberland North. And now, yesterday, the NDP member, who I don't know from Adam. Okay, so there's a pattern there. And you can even go back further. Cape Bretoners. I love Cape Bretoners. And they're wonderful people. Eddie Oriel. I never spoke to that man in my life. I don't know him from Adam. But he takes in Eddie Oriel was the multi-term, 2 or 3 terms, elected MLA for Northside Victorian Legislature, Northside Industrial Cape Breton in the Victoria County, Bullenred area. And he chose to support somebody else in the Tory leadership, PC leadership, and Terrible Timothy holds a grudge, obviously, and he encouraged him to leave. The guy ran federally, almost won as an MP. He also, Alfie MacLeod, who's the most liked. When you phone the Premier's office and say, who's the nicest MLA in legislature, an assistant to the Premier responds back, I'd have to say Alfie MacLeod. You can't get better than that. When the sitting Liberal Premier of the province had one of his main assistants said the nicest member of the legislature is Alfie MacLeod, who was the PC member for Cape Breton West, Louisburg and Sydney River and so on. He left. He ran federal, almost got elected, just missed it by 1,000 votes or so, which is not a bad miss by on a federal election. And finally, the fine member for way down in Yarmouth, okay, one of the Yarmouth area ridings, Chris Entremont. Chris Entremont chose to support somebody else, and he didn't like Chris then. Chris ran federal and was elected. You might have noticed him recently. He was interim Speaker in the House of Commons. So Chris Entremont is an excellent MLA, used to be the PC government House Leader, which is a job in itself. Keep everybody coordinated and in line and so on. And so there's a pattern there. But this is totally uncalled for. I never support the NDP. Don't like what they stand for. I don't know Claudia Shinder. I don't know Claudia Shinder, period. But it's just not right to kick this woman out of the legislature. She has every right to ask a minister a question. And with that, I got to go. I wish you all the best. God bless. Thank you now. Bye for now.